So, haven't seen you in a week, quite. At least, kind of my face. And only uploading episodes with the audio only because, of time reasons. I've really been overdoing things this week, which I think you can also hear in my voice that, I might also not look that fresh. I might also not talk that fresh. I might not talk that enthusiastically, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see what this episode's gonna be all about. I haven't recorded in 3 days, which is really abnormal. It is really unusual. It's not something that I also like to do. I like recording, but yesterday I thought, well, should I record or shouldn't I? And I decided not to because I wanted to go to bed as quickly and early as I possibly can. For me then to wake up at fucking 5 a.m. Yeah, that's cool shit. But I kind of thought that this is going to be the case. And so I, mitigated the amount of, or I increased the time of sleep that I was able to get then, by really going to bed really early and at least laying down, kind of not sleeping for quite a bit, but just being able to rest and tell my body like, okay, here you're getting the fucking rest. But today, I'm also gonna work out and shit, and by the way, workouts have been incredibly shit the whole week long, and for quite some time I'm not able to get a pump. Might be due to my lack of hydration, might kind of really definitely be the case. So gonna try it today whether this is kind of solving my problem, and then I'm gonna talk about it whether it does. I'm probably also gonna take some pre-workout since, which you're actually seeing there, which I haven't taken for really quite a while because I thought that I gained weight because of that. And even though I'm eating really a lot each and every day, I haven't gained any weight so far after my little cut and shit and whatnot. Anyway, it's not the topic of the video because today we're gonna go through some Reddit questions and things and thoughts and whatever you want to call them. I don't know. Seneca on the shortness of life. This is long form content, so it might take a while to go through, but I really want to go through it. I don't know why, but I really want to read it. Let's see. Life is short if you waste it on trivialities. People have always been good at wasting time. Most people spend the majority of their time engaging in trivial activities, even if these activities don't seem trivial to them. But the thing about trivial activities is that they make life seem short. For instance, life will seem especially short if you only pursue status or power. You'd always have your eyes on some future goal and won't be able to enjoy your current situation. People tend to think that once they've achieved all their goals, they will have time to enjoy life, but it rarely works out this way. What usually happens is this: people spend their life preparing for life. The Emperor Augustus, whatever, is a case in point. He spoke endlessly of quietude, of the calm and rest he'd enjoy upon retirement from his public duties. But this longed for day never came. The Roman Empire depended on him, and he could never pull himself away. Life will also seem short to those who pursue a life of luxury. These people can't even enjoy their indulgences. They'll always be thinking of how their current thrill will soon end or where their next one will come from. But worst of all are those who seek glory after death. These people get wrapped up in planning for a posterity that's not even theirs. They'll be thinking of that pithy remark in their obituary, or they'll draw up plans for giant tombs. But funerals ought to be simply symbolic affairs. In fact, there's nothing more suitable than a single burning candle, an apt symbol for the shortness of human life. Memento mori, motherfuckers. You're gonna die. Which is, burning candles, skulls, flowers that are, not fresh anymore, not new anymore, whatever you call it, I don't know. These are symbols for memento mori, as you can see in quite a lot of paintings, still lifes from, well, I actually don't know. Might be this the Renaissance might be, I don't know, I can't remember. I've learned it once, but I don't remember. Busy doesn't equal fulfillment. Say a ship left port and spent the next year being thrown about a mighty storm. It would be inaccurate to claim that during this time it had steered a successful and purposeful course, even if it did make it safely back to harbor. Well, the same can be said of life. Pitching, rolling, and yawning aren't substitutes for living. Of course, it's important to plot a course and then stick to it, but it is also worth remembering that not every path should be pursued. Some people are happy to spend their lives tacking and jibbling through the wind, constantly changing direction. They worry they're not headed in the right direction and they pine for what they are left behind. Other people, through sheer apathy, are happy to be buffeted or buffeted about by the waves. They only stop drifting when they are too tired or too old to carry on. And then there are those who devote their prime years to lust, greed, and gluttony. They keep telling themselves that someday they'll amend their ways, but they never do. Which kind of, I don't know, seems or feels for me something that I'm seeing in some people. Some people that, well, people that might be overly focusing on their youth in terms of, okay, now I'm young, now I can do shit, now I can rest and take my time and not do anything and party all day long and just not work on things, work on things that are worth working on, which, might just lead to this mindset and this kind of living for the whole life, which leads to not accomplishing anything in life and not being able to do anything in life. So do shit. Even if you're young, I really don't want to say that you should be working all day long, even though it might inhibit you of reaching your goals as fast as you could, but not as you should. Nobody says that you should be a millionaire by age 30. What about age 40 and still having a decent life and enjoying life and, just not thinking about work and working on work all the fucking time? It's going to take you 10 years, yeah, just years that you're not able to get back, but it might be a better approach. It might be a better approach to goals, not thinking too short term or too ambitious, maybe, even though I don't like saying that, because having ambitions and being ambitious is very important and definitely not pointless and a pretty good thing and well, important. Because if you're not ambitious, if you just don't have the drive to do something, then you're probably also not going to do something, and you're also not going to achieve something, therefore. But yeah, I don't know, like, at this point of time, I have seen that life is also about balance. And, I don't want to talk about work-life balance. First of all, I think that, it is so overused. This is one reason. And on the other hand, it is like, what is work-life balance? What's the definition of it? I don't know, so, well, I'm not going to talk about it. The thing is, if you feel burned out, if you feel really bad as I did this week, feeling like really, really weak due to eating habits, due to trying stuff, due to working, due to, actually my job at this point in time, then you should change something. This is not something that you can sustain or should sustain. Well, you can if you really are a hard motherfucker like David Goggins, for example. But it is not smart. And I kind of believe that the story is somehow also about being smart. Like, yeah, you can be busy, but it's not productive. Keeping yourself busy is not being productive, not necessarily. It depends on what you're doing and where it's heading to, like the path as Seneca is talking in this bit about. And I think it is the same, like, yeah, why should you be overly killing yourself only to then have just severe issues your whole life long with broken legs and whatnot, even though I know David Goggins is doing that, and I fucking appreciate him for being so hard and such a savage. But, big but, I don't necessarily believe that this is the approach everyone should take. There are some people that really can take this road and that path. But, this is something that just be smart. Just be smart. As much as I like David Goggins and his approach to life and him doing what he does, out of my own experience, or from my own experience, and really trying to milk every single fucking bit of time, it's not been that sustainable for me, at least not in this week. Some other weeks might be better, if you're healthy and if you feel good and if you kind of have enough rest in your mind, and maybe it also depends on what you're working on. I mean, my job, it is not necessarily something that I've chosen to do. It is something that the government is just, quote unquote, forcing me to do, quite. And, it also depends on how you think about this job, since it is not something that you've chosen, quote unquote. I kind of have, but yeah, how you're then doing the job, if you really put every single ounce of fucking energy into it, which I've done, I feel like, trying to do the best job, but then remembering, why do I do this? Why do I just really put so much energy into something that I quote unquote have to do? What about just giving it my 50% and keeping the other 50% for working out, the podcast, just maybe not sleeping as much, so that I can kind of balance that out. Being smart about things just doesn't make a lot of sense how I've handled things in the past. And I'm thinking about changing that, and I'm also trying to change it, therefore. But yeah, let's move on. For some, by the time they feel that the moment is right, they're too old or too weak to change their habits. For others, even if they could prolong their lives threefold, they still wouldn't change. Worst of all, however, is to be borne away on the winds of somebody else's preoccupations. It's pointless working for someone whose aims and convictions don't agree with your own. Doing so is the surest path to a short life. When this happens, your obsessions and worries won't even be your own, and you're destined to run aground. I don't know what this means, but anyway. When stuck in such a situation, people moan that their boss or supervisor doesn't listen to their wishes or opinions. But if these people can't find the time to listen to themselves and pursue their own courses, why should anybody else? You can choose to be educated by the world's greatest minds. While you have little power to change who raised you or who you were raised with, the fact remains that you can forge your own path in education and self-improvement. It's astonishingly easy to acquire wisdom from great thinkers and, in time, to train yourself to be a better person. You can, for example, engage with the works of Plato or Hegel, Derrida or Arendt, and come to a better understanding of people, power, society, and culture. Pick your philosopher and discover new ways to tackle life, from the everyday trifles to universal preoccupations. A great thinker can be both a solace and a companion. What's even better is that they are always available. You can engage with such thinkers on a daily basis, and they'll speak truth every time, pointing out your attributes, both negative and positive, without sugarcoating things. And when you're done, you can just set them back on the shelf. They're not going to sap your energy as real people might. Furthermore, because this mental engagement will only have positive effects, these thinkers will prolong your life rather than shorten it. And even if you're nearing the end of life, reading is still a boon, for by reading you can learn not only how to live, but how to face death unflinchingly. However, you have to be careful when selecting which great minds to read and what you will learn from them. or glean from them. There is no point reading just to compile trivial facts. You have to educate yourself purposefully. Life is long enough to devote yourself to self-knowledge and true wisdom. The great minds are your torch-bearers in this task. True satisfaction springs from within, which is definitely something that I can say is the truth. It is all about values. Values that we have set up, values that we have in our mind, values that we create. In life, we often experience ephemeral sensations that may temporarily perk us up, but they are not within our control, and the pleasure they engender often vanishes as quickly as it appears. A wise person is self-reliant and independent. The loss of status or money is not real setback to him, since his sense of self is not founded on external circumstances. Once you find yourself motivated by greed instead of necessity, you will remain forever impoverished. The shortest path to true satisfaction is to conduct yourself within your means and to appreciate your lot in life. This way, you will never feel that you're lacking anything. The instant you start to convert unnecessary material items, however, you will feel that you're stuck in a sort of poverty. To use an analogy, if you crave water not because you're thirsty, but because you're feverish, your craving will never be satisfied. Such a craving is not necessity, it's sickness. This holds just as true for possessions and powers as it does for water and food, or pretty much any desire you can think of. It all boils down to this: the important things in life can't be removed or diminished by others. It's simply not within the capacity of a mere mortal to rob you of your critical faculties or to eradicate your ability to appreciate the beauty of the mountains or the sea. No matter where you are or what you are doing, whether in exile or in homeland, whether ill or well, know this: you may always survey the heavens and contemplate the most profound aspects of existence. So remember, self-worth comes from within. Only you can determine how satisfied you are with the world around you. To ensure a tranquil mind, tailor your career to your personality and don't forget to enjoy yourself. There is no point whatsoever in having what appears to be an viable life when you're actually fractured inside. All life filled with doubts and regrets is no life at all, so what should you do? The first thing to realize is that there is no one path that will ensure tranquility. We must each forge our own. For instance, some people are more suited to a life of study and reflection. Others might need sustained physical exertion to be contented. But no matter how you conduct your life, be sure to serve mankind with actions, writing, or your intellect, at least to the best of your abilities. You won't gain anything by taking on tasks to which you're ill-suited, except only those enterprises that you are sure you will finish. Have faith in yourself, trust your instincts, and don't be too harsh on yourself once you have selected your course. You will enjoy the journey all the more if you have confidence in yourself and your actions. The second thing to remember is that overexertion will smother your faculties and sap your spirit. In short, don't overdo it. You wouldn't incessantly, what the fuck does that mean? You wouldn't incessantly till the soil and expect a cornucopia every time. So don't always work your fingers to the bone. Ultimately, it's just counterproductive. Yes, it fucking is. Instead, set aside some time for yourself. Relax. Even Cato, the famous Roman, used to drink a glass of wine when he returned home from a long day of statesmanly activity. And Socrates, when he wasn't philosophizing, enjoyed playing with the local children. So don't forget the value of pleasure and don't think you shouldn't enjoy yourself. Moderation is the best policy. Some possessions and leisure pursuits may help you relax, but don't overindulge. Material objects and external pursuits shouldn't define your happiness. So your happiness shouldn't be defined by wine or other alcohol. But yeah, with that being said, I wish you the best. Stay safe, stay good and healthy. See you soon. Don't overdo things. Keep balance in life. I love you. See you soon. Bye bye.